You've been working very hard this morning.
Yeah, well, as you say, it's half us and half characters. We've just come in characters' clothes and everything.
Yeah,
from
we've
next
just sort of
door.
been working since about 7:30, I suppose, this morning. So.
Do you ever find it hard when you come off the Neighbours show to all of a sudden go back to being Kylie?
Well, it's good to get home, because home you're just yourself, and there's no people that take you as being Charlene or Scott. But sometimes it's difficult when you're out. People, you know, they relate to you as your character, not as you. So it's good to get home.
So you like that sort of balance to get away from it all and just
definitely.
be yourself. Have you found enormous pressures on you in the last 18 months that you've been in the show?
Yeah, there have been a lot with publicity-wise. I mean, especially now with the wedding coming up, we've done a lot of publicity, radio, just everything. And yeah,
it's all sort of, I guess, a combination of things. I suppose it's, I mean, on top of your scripts, and there's mail that's also got to be answered. There's all those things which tend to build up more than anything else, I guess, and one starts to overlap on top of each other, and that you find it's a snowballing effect. You know, once you write to someone, they'll write back to you twice or something like that. So you've got to write to them. Yeah, so you've got to write to them. So there's that little thing which is important, I think, is keeping the viewers sort of happy, I guess. That's a certain amount of pressure.
Jason, do you ever get to the stage where you wish you could just go and do Neighbours and not ever have to worry about the outside things that go along with it?
That's the thing. The job continues on.
Yeah, it's not sort of a job where you can walk into the studio and sort of say, okay, I know it, I'm ready, you know, let's do it.
Yes.
It's something where you've got to be at home each night and you can't go out. You've got to discipline yourself, I think, which is pretty important to be able to learn those lines. Because if you don't know them, then you're not holding up yourself. You're holding up like hundreds of people, which is, as it goes, I mean, you can't virtually see them in front of you, but as it goes down the line, there's production people and then there's the editing, so that all slows down. So I guess, yeah. So.
Do you find that your attitude to your professionalism, and you are very much a professional, stems a lot from Father Terry?
I guess a lot of it sort of helped me, I guess, is sort of being around him and knowing what hours sort of are required of you and what time is required of you, and also the other outside things like your publicity, like your fan cards and stuff, which I guess without that experience I wouldn't have a greater knowledge about it, I guess, and be prepared to do it.
Because you've been going around doing all sorts of things. I mean, I'm always hearing it advertised, you know, come along and see Jason Donovan from Neighbours.
Yeah, sort of, there's been a few nightclubs and stuff like that, so that's all goes on top of it as well, I suppose.
Which makes it difficult when you're here early in the morning and you've got scripts to learn. Absolutely. Now, the wedding is on tomorrow night on the show. How did you both feel about the characters of Scott and Charlene getting married in the first place?
I don't know. We're waiting to see how the public will react to it. I mean, we know the audience have liked Scott and Charlene being together, but it's been that on-off relationship. So we can't really gauge yet. We're going to have to wait and see what the public think of it, and whether they still are interested in the characters after a few months afterwards.
I think they'll initially sort of like the wedding. I mean, it's all sort of been building up, I guess, to that point. So it's all going to be like everybody will be watching Wednesday night. But as Kylie said, it'll be interesting to see after how people settle down and relate to the characters as married couple as opposed to single people. As
where there was that chance of breaking up.
And getting back together. They're going to
get divorced in the script somewhere down the line.
Could happen. You never know.
It's fairly close, really, to Des and Daphne's wedding. I mean, it's not all that long ago that we had another wedding. What is your attitude to this sort of new conservatism, if you like, of couples, whereas 10 years ago they might have lived together? Now couples do seem to be getting married a lot younger.
It's interesting as you say that, because you're talking about a reversing of trends, really. I think as I was saying yesterday in an interview, we were talking about your grandparents, or my grandparents particularly, and stuff like that, would have also been married at a younger age. That's what they've pointed out in this, in the storylines. And here you are seeing people in nowadays, our parents, not accepting what their parents were doing anyway at that time. So it's interesting to see, and I think, as I said yesterday, it's a similar point. I think the AIDS issue as well is going to bring people more under that institution.
Yes, everyone's becoming that, taking that more conservative line for many different reasons.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think, I don't think it's going to be a wave across Australia. Everybody's going to be jumping out and
They're not all
married.
getting married.
But it's a slow progression, I guess, and it's taken all those years to reverse. Maybe it is reversing, maybe not. I don't know.
I haven't seen the episode yet, but I believe that you did it quite a few times.
20 times we went down the aisle, so it was a bit different to really getting married because it was a very hectic day having to get everything done in the one day. There were so many shots with like every cast member there.
So there's about 120-something shots in the whole thing, sort of, you know.
Does it go through the whole episode?
No. The episode builds up to morning preparations in the two different households.
Right.
Everyone's running around frantic, and the actual wedding sequence is it's surprising. It's not what you'd expect.
It's not the huge sort of thing.
It's like a rock video.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rock video.
It's good.
Yeah, I know that you've both of you, particularly Kylie, have sort of hit the front page of every national magazine in Australia this week, you know, sort of as the bride, you know, television's bride of the year. How do you feel about all of that? I mean, you look great, but...
It's really odd. I mean, when we knew the characters were going to get married and we knew it was all happening, even when we did it, it's not until now that we realised what a big thing it is. I mean, it's not really to us, but to think it's being dubbed as the wedding of the, you know, television's wedding. And do
you find that a little bit daunting? I mean, do your friends sometimes have a go at you, or do you have friends of yours that have become fans as well as friends?
No. Well, some of them will say, what's going to happen? And you just say, you'll have to watch it. But no, my friends are really good about it, and it's good to see them and get back to what normal people do.
You were the youngest person to ever win the Silver Logie for most popular actress. It's been an exciting career for you, but obviously you must have, down the line, some other thoughts about where you want to go or what you want to do with your career?
It's plodding along nicely at the moment. I will be releasing a single, so I'm swaying to to singing as a separate career. It's not, I'm not sort of cashing in on it, but I'd like to develop that.
Well, Danielle, your sister, is very well known in Young Talent Time. So have you always both had a love of music? Have you been brought up with that?
Yeah, I dabbled in it a few years back before Neighbours. Did a demo tape and all the usual stuff. So, yeah, I think, well, she and I are the only ones that sing in the family. Don't know where we got it from.
Somewhere along the line, yeah. As far as you're concerned, Jason, I mean, have you been getting offers of movie scripts or anything like this at this stage? Are you waiting?
I want offers. No. No, it's been very quiet, actually. I guess it's more, for me, it's more sort of a training ground. I want to carry on my acting career because I think out of all the years I've sort of been and gone, I think I've wanted to do a bit of art and bits and pieces, but I've never really felt underneath that I wanted something so much as to do this, because now you sort of initially get into it. It's like a bug. It really gets you, and you just want to stay there and do it. You feel it. So I think I'd like to develop, you know, sort of acting a bit more, I guess, but there's time.
Be great.
There's a lot of time.
All right, time to go back into Be Neighbours. Time to be back to Scott and Charlene and not Jason and Kylie. Thanks for joining us on the program this morning. Nice to see you, and I know everybody would have loved seeing you at home. Come back and see us again.
We will.
Okay, we'll be back with